Every time I had snacks at home, it always went like this. You open a pack of chocolate and tell yourself, bro, okay, only 2 small pieces and that's it. And as soon as you leave the kitchen, your brain just remembers that there is a big source of pleasure in the fridge. An evil voice tells you, there is some chocolate left, brother. And then you cannot stop thinking about it. So you tell yourself, okay, before you think about that chocolate all day, I'll just eat 1 more row to finally have some peace. But after that, somehow the evil voice is still there. Like, what the fuck? So you'd be like, bro, I'll just eat the entire thing and then I don't have to think about it anymore and can finally focus again. And then you go ahead and inhale the whole damn bar. Are you stupid? 700 calories and you didn't really enjoy that? But this happened over and over again for many years. But I managed to cure my binge eating and I want to tell you how I did it. I've been a passionate binge eater for the majority of my life. And not many people know this because I used to snack in a really sneaky manner. You know, there are people who only binge on sweets and there are people who get weak when it comes to salty stuff like chips. But the problem was I absolutely loved both. So whenever I had snacks at home, I would eat them. And it has only gotten worse when I moved out of my parents' house. I would ultimately seek comfort in food. It was the ultimate dopamine source when things got tough, or I was just bored in general and needed a quick activity to do. This was one of the main reasons I got fat when I was in middle school. But even after that, I used to be lean for most of the time, but I still had a binge eating problem. So the number one thing was to make my life really busy and have tasks all the time. The core problem is that the brain is obsessed with food. So we have to slightly shift that obsession from food to something else. It was not necessarily the effects on my body, because I was doing a lot of sports and I was able to burn off these calories. The trauma from being fat made me really cautious about my weight and my body in general. You can definitely out-train a bad diet to a degree and look good on the outside, but your inside is going to be really bad, especially your brain. So binge eating had more of a negative effect to my psyche and my mental health in general, because I was thinking about it all the time. I had these giant urges and cravings during the day and I could not focus whatsoever. It was really tough for me to stay focused for a long period of time without thinking about snacks or without thinking about food in general. So the urge to eat often comes from boredom, but if you engage in an activity where we are really focused for a longer period of time, the urge is no longer relevant. So basically what I did is picked up many new productive activities to basically distract myself from eating. The second thing that helped is living with somebody else. So the biggest shift of my binge eating behavior happened when I moved in with a friend. Because before that I used to live alone, and when you live alone there's nobody that is watching you, so you just do whatever you want, whenever you want. But now my roommate is also in the house and I don't want to show him my embarrassing binge eating behavior. So I get my shit together and automatically stay more disciplined. But you're sometimes alone at home, right? This is a valid question and this is where my next tactic comes in. Not having any snacks at home. So this is called environment design and it is the easiest way to stop binge eating. You know, it's not a long-term solution because if you're addicted, you will always find ways to go back. Eventually you will cave in and go to the store and buy some candy again. And the fact that junk food is really cheap makes everything worse because it doesn't really hurt that much. What is $1 for a bar of chocolate even gonna do to my finances? It doesn't really make a difference. That's a massive problem as well. Or whenever people will give me snacks and sweets as a gift, on one hand I was really grateful because, you know, it's a gift and you're happy. But at the same time I was like fuck because a new distraction has just entered my life. And as every binge eater can probably relate, you don't really enjoy the snack over a long period of time, piece by piece. You just consume the entire thing in one session. This behavior seems to be quite common, but barely anyone talks about it. But by not having any tempting foods in the house, I was able to stop my binge eating behavior almost immediately. My mind did not go to eating all the time because there was not really a dopamine source in the kitchen anymore. But for that to work out in the long run, at some point you need to develop killer discipline. So this is the second step after implementing environment design. You know, the cognitive process of curing binge eating is really weird to explain. It really comes down to identifying patterns and avoiding them. Discipline is basically a mindset shift that is based on delaying gratification. So how do you actually achieve the mindset of delaying gratification? So first you need a positive feedback loop. So what I mean by positive feedback loop is that your situation changes in the following way. So imagine you manage to stop binge eating for an entire day. One day is really not that difficult. So on that day you are able to focus really well without having these weird, annoying cravings in the back of the mind. So after experiencing that, you now really like the new feeling of mental clarity without all the guilt you experienced in the past. So you want to have that positive feeling again. So on the next day, when a slight urge arises, you remind yourself of the last day, which went exceptionally well. So by doing this and remembering the good productive times, you break the vicious cycle of binge eating. And breaking a cycle is the most important thing. And by repeating that behavior over and over again, after some time, solid discipline is formed. So chewing a lot of gum and drinking water. Drinking a lot of water keeps your stomach full and reduces hunger. So the moment I felt the urge, I tend to chug down 1 or 2 glasses of water. And chewing gum can also help with curing binge eating, because if you have gum in your mouth, you cannot really eat anything else. And by chewing, you signalize your body that you're eating something. And the brain is actually pretty satisfied with that. So curing binge eating was a slow process, and I can definitely understand that many other factors in life can also fuel that behavior. So problems in your personal life, stress, frustrations, this all can lead to some unhealthy addictions, and binge eating is unfortunately one of them. And so over time you learn to manage your emotions and cravings. It is really important to commit to a journey of improving. I think occasionally snacking is not bad, but real binge eating is eating junk food even when your stomach is full and you're not even enjoying that food anymore. At the moment I'm on a really strict diet and I'm able to stick to it 90% of the year. But it was definitely a long process from binge eating to the state I'm currently in. And I wish you the absolute best when it comes to curing your binge eating. So feel free to ask me anything in the comments. I will reply to every single person. Stay focused.